Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. So when I first started this YouTube channel, it was primarily so I had a way to share with my friends all different adventures I went on at the theme parks and of course on vacation at various spots across the country collecting elongated coins. But every so often I do like to sprinkle in a few videos here and there that have some unique ways that can help enhance your enjoyment of collecting elongated coins. In previous videos we've talked about is it even legal to press coins, or many different methods on how to clean your collection, store them, and keep them safe. Plus one time we even bought a mystery box of Disney pennies off of eBay. That was a lot of fun. There are so many different topics we can explore, and that's what we're doing in this video today. We're gonna delve into another one. There are tons of coin convention shows that take place across the country throughout the year. Here in Florida, I'm lucky to have a fairly large one called the Florida United Numismatists Coin Show, also known as the F.U.N Show. Many different clubs host booths as well at the show to try and recruit new members, or if you visit the TEC booth, there is usually a coin press available for you to squish your pocket change with a very special design created just for that show. There is one area, however, that I am usually drawn to, and that is the exhibits. These exhibits are created by club members to educate others and show off a certain numismatic topic from their collection. I've seen some exhibits from a wide range of topics, including error coins, historic paper currency, and even some unique topics like McDonald's coins celebrating the Big Mac's 50th anniversary. The possibilities are endless. That's what this video is all about. I'm officially going to create and enter an exhibit in the next scheduled F.U.N convention. I'm bringing all of you along with me through the entire process. Now, right now it's August of 2022, and the next scheduled F.U.N show is their winter event that's held in early January of 2023. So we do have some time, but I know there's a lot of work ahead of us. The first step was I did have to fill out an application. It really just needed my personal information and of course my F.U.N membership info as well. I've already completed that and submitted it, just waiting for approval, which I don't think there should be any issues with that. But then we've got so many different steps that we have to go through, and I'm going to detail all of them with you. There's going to be plenty of kind of time jumps in this video, so I will put little date stamps on the bottom so you can see exactly when all these things are taking place. We've kind of ironed out the layout. We got to go and buy some supplies, figure it all out, and then eventually the day before the show starts, I'll have to go to the convention floor, put it officially in the display case, get it locked up, and then it's out of our hands. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, so let's get started. To begin with, I have to come up with a topic for my exhibit. And I did have a few different ideas, but I thought since this is my first time entering, I don't want it to get too complicated and we'll keep it fairly simple. Otherwise, I'd probably get a little too overwhelmed with this whole process. Now, this is Central Florida, the theme park capital of the world. And you know me, I love Walt Disney World. So I thought what better topic than to show off the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary special press penny set. If you've been following our videos, you know I already have all of those pennies in my collection ready to show off. And I did also collect a few other special items throughout the 50th anniversary that I want to try and include in the exhibit as well. So I think we're off to a great start. Now, these are all just kind of preliminary ideas I've got rolling around in my head, and it's going to continue to change until we can start getting some items and really lay them out and I can see kind of an overview of how we're doing. So right now I think the next step is we should head out to probably a hobby store or a craft store and start picking up some supplies so we can really start to kind of iron out how this is going to look. All right, here we are, shopping day number one, heading into Michael's, hoping that a crafting store might have some supplies I can use. Now, I will say right now, I only have a real rough idea of how I want this layout to look, so I'm just kind of really not going in there with a specific shopping list. I'm just gonna go in, see what I can find, see if anything grabs my, catches my eye that I wanna try and put in there, and I'm sure this is gonna evolve over time, so let's head inside and we'll see if there's anything we can use in our upcoming exhibit. All right, I found the aisle with some poster board, but these are all kind of plain colors. Obviously I'm really looking for like a dark purple, royal blue, something like that as the base, the bottom of the exhibit. So let me keep looking. Even these large pieces of construction paper, not really the colors I'm looking for. All right, well, this is promising. Got much better colors over here. And this one, this is looking almost just like the right color that I want to put as the base. It's just not the right size. It's a little too small. So I might have to get a couple sheets and see if we can craft them together. So I think we found our first item. So I found some of these materials that were interesting as an option to use to actually put the coins on and display them, but they're a little flimsy. They're just pieces of felt. So I gotta find something I think a little more rigid, maybe some foam board that I can actually put them on. I wanna make sure it doesn't fall apart while they're on display. All right, just playing with some ideas. I did find this. It's a pine plaque, which I actually thought that is kind of cool. It's giving me some Cinderella Castle vibes, sort of, maybe. Am I the only one thinking that? That would give me some height, which I like. I just don't know about the overall size, if it's gonna give me enough room to put all the coins that I need on this side. I was thinking about having two of them, one on each side. Gotta think about it. I might have to just buy them and try it out, you know, test fit everything and see. If not, I'll just bring them back. So that might be an idea. All right, bit of an update. I put those other pieces of foam board away because I was over in the framing section and I found this nice mat, which is pretty close to the color I was looking for, but it's larger than the exhibit display. So that's why I can actually cut it down. I'm not gonna have any, you know, cut lines in it, which was already bothering my retentive mind, thinking about putting it in there like that and figuring out how to cover it up. So I think this is our first initial items to purchase. We'll get home, we'll lay it all out, we'll see how it looks, and I'm sure we'll be back for some more little details. Okay, now I actually want to start laying some things out just to see how they fit together, if we have enough room, if I need to adjust some things. So like I said earlier, I do have kind of a brief idea in my mind. I did spend a couple minutes just doodling out rough design on a scrap piece of paper so I can get a general idea of what I'm looking to do initially, but like I said, that's a work in progress. I'm sure it's going to change over time. When we were at the craft store, I also did buy a couple pieces of foam board because we got that nice mat from the framing section. I don't want to start using it right away because I'm afraid I'll make a mistake or start setting it up in one way, not liking I need to change it, and just it was like 15, 20 bucks. I don't want to waste it by messing it up. So I got some foam board that I've cut to the right dimensions that I received for the display case. It's 33 3/4 inches by 21 3/4 inches. So I have the foam board, I got it cut down to the right size. So now we can kind of start dry fitting things in place and just see how they look. So far, I think things are looking pretty good. This is obviously a very preliminary design outline that we've got going here, and I can already tell we're gonna have to make some minor adjustments as we go down the line, but that was to be expected. Right now, my only concern are those two wood plaques on the left and right side of the display. I'm just not sure if they're gonna fit all of the pennies in this very large set. So I think that's my next step, is I need to take both of those and make sure that all the pennies fit on them, because if they don't, then we've kind of got to scrap that idea and come up with something else. So let me see what I can figure out with those pennies and those wood plaques. Success, we got them all to fit, which is fantastic. One less thing I have to go back out and, more shopping, figure out another solution. So I'm happy to see that they're all on there. I was kind of hoping there'd be some more space in between them, because I've got them sectioned off like these are Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Disney Springs, Epcot, like that. So I was hoping to have little labels where I can specify exactly the locations that those group of coins came from, but I still have some time to, adjust the layout, and I might be able to squeeze in those labels. I also did notice some of the coins are pretty filthy, so I'm gonna have to go back through and use one of our handy dandy cleaning solution options that we looked at in a previous video and get those shined up. We got plenty of time to worry about that before the coin show. And the last thing I was thinking of with these wood plaques, I think I'm gonna maybe paint the edges or the trim like a nice gold color. I think that'll look really nice against the dark purple or blue of our background. and then I'll figure out some sort of different color or material to put on top to help make the coins really, pop on the display. So I'm happy so far. I think we're making some good progress here. A few weeks have gone by, and I've been working on the exhibit here and there whenever I've got some spare time. So let's take a look at what I've done since we last checked in. First, I was doing a little painting. I started with these plaques and some of the other wood accents. I've been using this shimmery gold spray paint I found, which I think is going to work really well and help these pop right off of that background. Something else I've been working on is how we're going to display the title of our exhibit. Initially, I was just going to keep it real simple. Print it out on some cardstock using my printer, place it on the background mat, and done. But I actually received a tip from another exhibitor recently that said sometimes with all the overhead lights that are in the convention center, it can cause a lot of glare on the glass exhibit cases. So they were recommending that you kind of put the title card on a bit of an incline to help avoid that. Just makes it a little bit easier to read. I found a thin strip of wood and these little dowels, so I cut them to size, glued them together, and then painted them with that same gold color. Well, as I knew I'd have to, I made another trip to the craft store for a few additional items like this really pretty shimmery paper. I'll be honest, as backup, I needed to call in my wife to help me pick out the colors so that they wouldn't clash with the rest of the display, and we came across these really amazing pieces of, they're actually scrapbooking paper. I temporarily attached them to the wood plaque so I could trim the edges, and now they will fit nicely on top. All I need to do is make a final decision on either the yellow or black, really depending on which I think will help make those pennies stand out more. All right, time for another update on how things are progressing. Let me show you on what's been happening. Last time I had mentioned the exhibit title display I had put together and painted. Now I had the main title and some smaller labels for each of the parks and resorts that I wanted to kind of organize and separate the pennies in the exhibit. My concern was, even though I'm using some thicker cardstock for these labels, depending on the type of glue I use, it may not bond well with the materials I have, like those wood plaques, or even that shimmery paper kind of has like an interesting texture to it. I used some scrap labels and different glues as a test, and the one that so far seems to work the best is this spray adhesive. I left this for a while just to see if the label would start peeling up or if the printer ink would distort or even bleed through due to the adhesive, but so far it's looking great. Next, I've started cleaning and polishing all the pennies in this set. Now, I do think that this might be a little early to do this, and I'm kind of worried that they might tarnish again as we get closer to the show, but if so, I'm thinking this is going to be a good, thorough cleaning and polishing, so if I need to, it might just be a little touch-up right before the show, but we'll see how that goes. Now, since these are all zinc pennies, not by choice, I had to be very careful with how I did this. If you saw our previous cleaning video, you will know that some cleaning methods will turn zinc coins black. So for these, I first used Brasso to clean off all the surface dirt and gunk. Then I used this Flitz metal polish that was recommended by some collecting friends, along with my rotary tool and polishing attachments to get them nice, clean, shiny, and so far, ready for display. Lastly, for this update, I've started typing up some information to include about our exhibit. So far, I've come up with just a brief outline of Disney World's 50th celebration and a little bit about the special press pennies they released that were scattered all over property, kind of like a little scavenger hunt. I'm sure this will evolve over time, but I'm happy with it for now. Sometimes you just need to get something down on paper and then come back to it periodically to fine-tune it. At this point, I feel like I've got everything pretty much the way I want it. There may be some few final kind of little changes here and there, but this is probably going to be about the last update right before the event. I may check in just one more time if there were any big changes I decided to make, but for now, I think that's going to do it. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Today is January 4th. It's actually the day before the F.U.N Coin show actually begins. But because we've got our exhibit that we're going to be putting on display, we're allowed to check in a day early to put that together, along with all the other vendors that are putting their tables together. So why don't you come with me? We're going to go inside. We've got to get checked in first as an exhibitor. Then we're going to find where our case is, put the display and the exhibit all together, get it locked up, and then it's officially out of our hands, and we can just enjoy the rest of the coin show as it begins tomorrow. So let's head on inside and take the next step in getting our exhibit put on display. I had been sent instructions through email on what to do once I arrived, but to be honest, it was a little bit overwhelming just due to all the crowds of the vendors and dealers that were waiting in line. First up, I had to jump in the early bird badge line where they made sure my club dues were all paid up for the current year, and then they confirmed that I was actually putting together an exhibit based on their list, and then they gave me the ribbon and a sheet of paper to go get my photo ID created. That was over in another line where I just sat down for my photo, which they printed on an ID card and attached to the lanyard along with my ribbon. This all together now allowed me early access to the exhibit area. Once inside, I had to head all the way to the very back of the show floor where the educational exhibit area was being set up. There I found another table with some very kind helpers that were able to escort me over to where my exhibit case was located. Now, it was time to set up. Thankfully, with all my pre-planning, there really wasn't much that I needed to do. Once I had the mat laid down, it was just a matter of placing all the other elements in their proper places. I had attached sticky notes to the mat so I knew exactly where each piece was to be placed, and then I could just easily peel up the sticky notes, leaving no residue behind once I was done. With everything in place, let me now present to you my 2023 Winter F.U.N educational exhibit. With the setup all complete, I closed down the top of the case and called over one of the helpers nearby to lock it all up for the duration of the coin show. Well, the F.U.N Coin Show has officially opened to the public and kicked off earlier today for the first day and runs through the weekend over the next few days. Our exhibit is out and on display and the judges are making their rounds, so I can't wait to see what our results are and what pieces of advice they give us for maybe the next time we decide to do this. But at this point, nothing else for us to do except walk around the show floor, check out some of the vendors and the exhibits, and just enjoy the rest of this coin show. Once it's all over, we will check back in and I'll give you the details of how we did in this year's exhibit. So the F.U.N Coin Show is officially over, and I had a wonderful time on the days I was able to attend while it was running, and even got to spend some time over at the Elongated Coin Collectors or Tech booth, meeting up with some friends that I hadn't seen since last year, so it's always nice to catch up with them. I did put together a full video on the coin show, which I'll link up in the top in case you haven't seen it and you want to take a closer look. Then on Sunday, the last day of the coin show, I actually brought my family with me so that they could help me take down my exhibit, pack it all up, and then we could get it back home. And at the same time, I received this packet, which had all of our judging scores from the exhibit itself. So I will just say right off the bat, we did not win anything for our exhibit, but that's fine. I really, to be honest, didn't think we were going to win anything. It was more just about this initial experience that I wanted to share with you. So let's take a look at some of the judging scores and also some of the very constructive notes that they gave us. There were quite a few categories that we scored really well in, like title and scope, creativity and originality, attractiveness, balance, completeness, and condition. I guess all that time we spent cleaning and polishing those coins certainly paid off. Now here are a few that we got some mixed scores on, like basic numismatic information, inspiration and education, and degree of difficulty. Lastly, here are a few that we will definitely need to work on for next time. Special numismatic information. This certainly seems to be where we lost most of our points just due to not giving a more detailed explanation about the coins we were putting on display. The rarity category was worth a total of 5 points for each judge. Again, our scores were a bit low here, and I think some of that is due to these being Disney collectibles and are known to be widely available to park guests. Maybe I should have included information that these were only to be available for a short period of time during the 50th celebration. Now, the total possible points from each judge is 100, and we ended up with 81, 72, and 79. I did receive a few notes from the judges, which I think were valid, and I appreciated their comments. Even though we didn't win our category, we still got some very special coins just for participating. So let's take a closer look at what we got. This one certainly took me by surprise and was included in the packet with our judges' score sheets. This is a 1 troy ounce .999 fine silver commemorative medallion for being an exhibitor. The reverse side has the F.U.N convention information and dates of the show. It even comes with a certificate of authenticity and a nice little felt box to keep it in. The second is a special elongated coin that was sent to me by current tech president Tyler Tyson. The Diller Exhibit Award was first created in 2014. The design is pressed on a US nickel awarded to all who enter an elongated exhibit. It was designed by Cindy Calhoun and engraved by Ed Guzmano. On the front, Tyler has hand engraved the year in the top left corner. And on the reverse side is the coin show my exhibit was displayed in, also hand engraved. This, I think, was very well deserved after all of our work and will have a very special place in my collection. Overall, I think we did pretty well for our first time out displaying an exhibit at the coin show, and based on the judges' scores and their comments, we'll know better for next time that we should be including a lot more information about the topic that we're displaying, as well as giving more details about elongated coins. That certainly seemed to be something the judges were looking for, so something to remember for next time. I also just wanted to mention a quick tip that concerned the mat we had used for the base of our exhibit. I had that thing cut to the exact dimensions of the exhibit case and even brought a pair of scissors just in case I needed to shave it off a little bit to make sure it fit. However, what I didn't realize is that there is a bit of a lip that runs around the edge of the case, and also the lock sticks out that I didn't account for. Thankfully, I was able to bend and fold it into place without any damage to it, but as you can see, it didn't make it out as well when we were tearing down the exhibit at the end of the show. Now for the big question, would I do it again? Absolutely. I did enjoy it, and I really had a fun time working on this. It did take a long time to put together, but as you can tell from this video, I really spread it out because I know myself and I'm a bit of a procrastinator sometimes, and I was worried that I'd be scrambling to put something together last minute, so I really wanted to give myself as much time as possible. Now, will I be putting one in the next F.U.N show? I don't know right away. I certainly would want to think about it and make sure that I have a new topic that is certainly unique or something that I'm really excited to share, so be on the lookout the next time you're in Orlando at one of the F.U.N shows. You never know if we'll have another exhibit. With this first one, I didn't want to get too complicated. That's why we kind of picked a bit of a simple topic with the 50th anniversary Walt Disney World coins, just because I thought it was an easy way to get our foot in the door, test out this process, and see how it all works. Plus, hey, we did come out with a few special coins just for participating, so that's always a win in my books. Now, what did you think about our exhibit? Did you like it? Did you think there's anything we should change? Were you here in Orlando at the F.U.N show, and did you see it in person? And maybe are you going to put together your own exhibit at a future coin show in your area? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear all about it. As always, thank you for joining me in this very long video. I do appreciate it that you have stuck around this entire time. As always, keep on pressing.